to the Weirdwood, and her people too. I shall be faithful, loyal and true. Leaves and branches, roots and bud, I go in peace, I shed no blood. Brave and charming, helpful, clever, my solemn word shall bind forever. Wicked Clever, in association with Nat 21 Adventures, presents Wyrdscouts, your Sunday side quest, magical kids in an enchanted forest adventure. And here they are, your Wyrdscouts.
It helps if I unmute. Hey, everybody!
Hi! I'm just like,
I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that part of the body. That's me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, I still have Shoshi muted. Okay,
There we go.
So hey, folks, this is, believe it or not, Nat 21 Adventures, Sunday side quest. Paulo's not here. He's doing a Renaissance Festival. So the normal crew, I mean, Mab and May are here, and we're joined by the amazing, Shoshana, or
That's
Shoshi.
me.
That's you. I am Robert Turk, author and game designer, and for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be playing my game, Wyrdscouts. It's about magical kids in an enchanted forest, helping people and earning badges. It's not we're going into the woods to kill everything we meet. So it's a little bit different than Dungeons and Dragons.
It's wholesome. It's so wholesome.
It's wholesome-ish. Yeah, I'll do that. So
I do plenty of running into the woods and killing things in my normal life.
There you go. So if you're out there, if you're watching, shout out in the chat, say hi. We'll say hi back. Tell your friends about it. And let's get this thing started. Let's introduce all our people. I introduced myself. I'm going to pass it over to Mab. Everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. Take it away, Mab.
Well, that one person knows me and I don't know, maybe loves me. Hi, I'm Mab Just Mab. I'm DC's own sideshow girl. Sometimes I'm green with a very large nose. And in those instances, that would be Wedgie, Two Cheeks, the most fanned goblin in all the Orcish horde, who is also trans fae, who wants to be a fairy when she grows up. So, and that's how I know Robert Turk is we had a podcast a while ago called Goblin Talk, and we were just goblins, talking. And for those of you who don't know, I am the powerhouse behind the merchandising of Nat 21 Adventures. Thank you. You got swag. I might have made it for you.
And going clockwise around the screen, we've got May Hammer.
Oh, okay. Hi. My name's May. I'm a nerd and a blurred and a nerdy burlesque girl. I know Mab from a while back from my burlesque days. And I actually met Turk at MarsCon randomly. And it was so funny when we saw each other on a screen. I was like, didn't we meet at MarsCon? I might have been a little drunk. I don't know. But yeah, so people that do know me, I play Hypatia, the debutante tiefling artificer. I played in Gothic Horror Gaming as Martha Smith. And all kinds of other little random stuff. You'll see me a lot on what do you call that? Crafting with the crew, because I'm a costumer. So you'll see me doing random stuff like hand beading or sewing or 3D printing or something like that. Hey.
All right. And thank you. And some of you may recognize Shoshi from fairy festivals or Renaissance festivals or the Goblonia game we did on Nat 21 back at New Year's. But here she is, fresh from the West Coast, the amazing Shoshi.
Hi. Wow, what a lovely intro. Yes, I'm Shoshi or Shoshana. I've appeared on a few Nat 21 adventures. No, wait, just that one. which was awesome. I had a super great time. You can also find me on Monday nights at Scabby Rooster Twitch channel doing a game called Total Party Kills, which is a reverse dungeon crawl. So we play the monsters, and then chat can chat can purchase heroes that come into our dungeon, and we have to fight them off. It's great. We're all very emo monsters. We just want to live our lives, and heroes keep coming in and trying to steal our stuff. It's a good time.
It is heartbreaking.
It's very heartbreaking. It's hard. And you can find me around in various things. I'm an actor in LA. Nothing you would have known me from, but I'm working on it. You got to cut me off here. It's going downhill, Robert.
All right. I'm cutting her off. So this is the game right here that we're playing. It is Wyrdscouts, a storytelling adventure game. And this game is out. It is available at DriveThruRPG right now in PDF, or you can order it from my website, wicked-clever.com, and I'll sign it and send you a copy. We did a Kickstarter for it, but the Kickstarter has been over, and it actually released to the wild during the pandemic, which is a horrible time to release a book. So yeah, we're releasing it again today. And that's the game that we're gonna play. Oh, Mab's got her copy. She's eating it. Yeah, you can get it. And hopefully by next week it will be available in print on DriveThruRPG as well. It's only PDF right now. And if you want a print copy, you can get it from my website. But hopefully next week it will be on DriveThruRPG as well. During the pandemic, it was taking DriveThru about 2 months to print proofs of books.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a frustrating process that one thing would go wrong in the printing process. Like they would print the last 2 pages solid black. And then I would have to resubmit files, and it would take 2 months to know whether that had fixed the problem or not. So I stopped trying to make it physical there, because it is physical other places and it looks great. But hopefully now that printing's back on schedule, and hopefully we can start getting those physical on Drive.
Hey, Robert, my book's got like a little dent in the corner. I'm going to need a new book.
Here's what I would suggest for that. So the dents in the corner happen when you drop it. Mm-hmm. So just turn it the other direction and drop it so you can dent all the corners evenly.
Yeah, I was like, you obviously don't have small humans, because all my books look like that. I don't know what you're talking about.
It has nothing to do with the fact that I was just chewing on it at all.
Right. Not a whole lot I can do about that. What is Wyrdscouts? What is this game? So this game was written as a family-friendly role-playing game, specifically for parents, grandparents, uncles and aunts to play with their kids that were in elementary school and middle school age. Now, I have played this game with just adults and had a blast. I've played this game with high school students and had a frustrating blast. They enjoyed the game, but dealing with high school students in a gaming store was the frustrating part, right? So you can play it with adults, but it was written to play adults with kids. Obviously, we're not putting kids on the stream, okay? So we've got our professionals here, our adults, who are going to play characters that are kids in this game. In Wyrdscouts, you are magical kids, all right? That somewhere in your past, somewhere in your family, one of your ancestors was a full-blooded fairy person. They might have been an Elfar, which are the elves. They might have been a Gruvkin, which are kind of the goblins that live underground. They might have been a satyr or a dryad or a I'm forgetting one, or a giant, or a puka. And through the ages, that magic has filtered down into your human blood. So these characters are part human, part fae. And in their families, they have come to the age where you send their kids off into the fairy wood to learn about their ancestry, to learn about that side of their family, and to help people of the woods. And in doing so, they earn badges, just like a scout earns badges. And the longer they stay in the woods, the more fey they start to become. So so you may see some of that happen as we're playing this game. Nobody has created characters yet. We wanted to create characters here on stream. People could ask questions that way. You could kind of see an overview of the game. So today we're creating characters, going over a little bit of the basics of how to play this game. And then next Sunday, we will jump right in with the adventure in the Weirdwood. Now, a couple of things, because this is Nat 21, and you all know Nat 21 is an audience participation stream. There you go. It's going along the bottom.
Ooh.
I know I did fancy stuff today, right? So when we're actually playing the game, you can spend your points down at the bottom on the Twitch chat to add or subtract dice from the player's rolls. Okay, so you can, if you want to help a player, you add a die. If you want to hurt a player, you take away a die. The other way you can participate is the troop, the scouts in this game have a magical animal. They're familiar that sort of follows them around and helps them out. Comments that we see in the chat that we think relate well to the story, like that one, those will become in character, in world comments. So you, the audience, will be playing the role of the troop's familiar. So if they're about to do something dumb, like go into a cave that there's snoring sounds coming out of in the pitch black, you could chime in as their familiar and say, no, don't do it. Like you're talking to the screen, right? You talk to the screen in a horror movie, they don't listen to you. You talk to the screen in this, we might pop your comment up, and then we listen to you. Or you could encourage them, yeah, go in, you've got this, you've got this. Whatever
that's more
comments
likely.
show up on the screen, yeah, that's more likely. Whatever comments show up on the screen, not just in the chat, we got to pull them over onto the banner here. Those will be in-world comments. Those will come from the mouth of the familiar.
So you guys
Sir
are
Percival
playing
asks,
the familiar.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing? So the familiar is going to have multiple voices.
Yes. Multiple personalities.
But it's whatever goes on the screen.
It's whatever pops up on the screen. Yep. We'll probably have to make the familiar have at least two heads, right?
Yeah,
that's
what I was
two-headed
thinking.
animal.
We're going with the chimera. We're going to
like
straight up chimera. It's just everything. Just
Yep. So I don't know yet if their familiar is going to be an owl or not. That is a pretty traditional like familiar from the Sword in the Stone Disney movie. Like you got the smart aleck owl. And I think in the podcast we did, I think the familiar was an owl.
I think the podcast, the familiar was a raven or a crow.
Was a raven. It was some sort of bird. So yeah, but we'll do
a corvid
this time. All right. So
here's another little hitch that's going to make things very interesting. You guys don't see this on Twitch side of things, but there are multiple administrators on this stream channel right now. There's at least 3 out of 4, possibly 4 out of 4 in the near future. And every one of us has the ability to add whatever comment we want onto the screen at any time. So we haven't really had a discussion about who has the permissions. Okay. I didn't put that up there. Who did that?
I did that. So I also have the ability to put comments up there that I like. I'm mostly going to focus on running the game, though. So if I miss your comment, It's not that I'm intentionally ignoring you. It's that my attention is first and foremost focused on these 3 wonderful ladies. And secondly on, oh, yeah, there's a commentary running over there. But so we've got administrators that are checking those out. And you know what? I honestly don't care who puts the comment up. If it makes sense in the moment, it comes out of the mouth of the familiar. So mods out there, you have been given an enormous power. Please use it irresponsibly.
I was like, yes.
So, character sheets. I meant to be able to show everyone the character sheet. Unfortunately, the character sheet in the book that I grabbed to use is black. There we go. Next time, you know what? I'll make sure I have it so we can put it up on the screen.
Wait, I have there we go. I have a thing in my face. There we go.
There you go.
I have one of the limited edition printed ahead of time character sheets that was created as part of the reward for the Kickstarter.
And actually, if you were to order a book from me, because the books available on my website right now are the ones that are extras from Kickstarter, you would get one of those character sheets tossed in there until I ran out of them. So what I wanted you to know about this character sheet is it was designed so that you could color things in. This has already happened. May, I don't know if you want to tell this story. Everybody's grabbing their stuff.
So I printed this out early like a responsible player, and I came back from sewing on my dress, and my youngest son had literally, I don't have it. He took it and ran off with it. I had to print another one because he colored this whole thing in crayons. I couldn't even see what the sheet said. And then he had the nerve to go to the back and do the same thing. So I'm going to print out more for them to destroy. And then whenever I earn a badge, I will let them color that one.
Oh, that's nice.
That one. I'm going to have to police them and be like, just this one today.
There you go. There you go. So let's... does anybody have any questions before we jump in and get started with character creation? Yes.
Oh, it's part of character creation. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, wait.
Well, now I'm curious what your question is.
Well, I just want to know how old we are because Turk said at a coming of age. So what is coming of age for these
All right,
younglings?
that's a great question. That's a good question to start with. That is different for every family. And so the way I was thinking when I wrote this is if you think about the wizarding families in that other property, right?
Yeah.
They all kind of do things their own way. You have the Malfoys who have their own family traditions and their own values. You have the Weasleys who have their own family traditions and their own values. So the idea here is that your parents or somebody in your family before you was also a Weird Scout when they were a youth. And some of these scouting traditions have passed on, both through the organization of Weird Scouts, but also their interpretations through the families. That's something. I guess we should actually start there, because as a game designer, I published 2 role-playing games before I designed this: Purgatory House and Starship Infernum, and they are horror survival games. All right, they are scary games, and when I was laying out, doing the art and the words on the pages for Starship Infernum, my son was sitting with me, and he's looking at the art on the screen, and he goes, "This is really scary stuff." And I said, "Yeah, it's not a game for kids." And he said, "You need to make a not scary game." And I said, "Well, okay, but I think about scary stuff. What's a not scary game I could make?" And he said, "I want you to make a game with puppies and rainbows." And I told him, "I'll do it, but it'll be terrifying." And he threw up his hands and said, "You're helpless," and walked away. A couple days later, my daughter came home from her very first Girl Scouts meeting. And she was all excited about the badges and getting to earn badges and do all these new things and being a part of a Girl Scout troop and having this community that they sort of grow up together. If the troop is run well, and they're still doing it. They've been doing it all through middle school, and I don't know how many are going to keep doing it in high school as they go into high school. But that sparked an idea of how do I make a game that incorporates that collecting badges and is a more wholesome thing with possibly puppies and rainbows that's not scary and dying in space and skeletons and zombies and all of this stuff. And has that magical thing that I love, that my kids love. And so over the next year, 2 years, that's where this game came from. So there's a lot in there about scouting reinterpreted through a mythical lens and how these traditions pass on and the things that you are given from troops that came before you. And the idea is you're going into the Weirdwood to do good things. All right. You're not going in there to find the treasure and kill things. You're going in there to earn your badges, to grow as a person. So age-wise, it's different for every family, but it's about late elementary school to late middle school. So I put in the book 8 to 13 years old is a good starting age. Okay. Once you become too old in the Scouts, which is not an age so much as it is you've mastered everything the Wyrdscouts has to teach you. Once you've reached that point, your characters will make a decision whether they're going back to the human world and taking the knowledge that they've learned here, going back to the human world and using their traits to better humanity, or are they choosing to stay in the Weirdwood and live in the Fey world? So there's a choice that will come at the end of your Wyrdscouts career, but it doesn't come now.
Oh,
that is awesome.
I love that.
Where was this? You know what? I think as a child, they missed me.
Yeah.
I never got my letter from the Weirdwood or however it's done.
Yeah.
Because I relate to this so hard.
Right.
And look at me now.
Well, and honestly, a lot of this game was inspired from Mab and mine and Shoshi and Joshua's adventures camping at the New York Fairy Festival.
Yeah, I would say, Mab, they didn't. I don't think they missed you, Mab.
We just got it late.
That's fantastic.
I think they got you. And seeing the kids there embrace the magic that we were creating for them and take their stories in a different direction and running through the woods like wild children. And it was awesome. So there's a lot of that in this game. So to answer your question, long way around to that answer, between 8 and 13 years old. So
cool.
The end.
The end. That's the end. All right. Thanks for joining us today, folks.
All right. Thanks.
So let me find the character creation stuff. The other thing I'm going to preface all of this with, I am in the deep design phase of an entirely different game right now. So there is a reason, even though I wrote this game, I have the rule book for this game right in front of me. And a lot of people will ask, well, you wrote it. Don't you remember that rule? And my answer is I have to look up and see which rule I put in here, because I remember every version of that rule. And I don't remember which one was the final one that went in the book.
Valid. That's valid.
So that's the curse of being a game designer. You get to make a cool game, but I've got 20 rejected versions in my head, and I don't know which one
Full
is right.
disclosure here. Full disclosure. I was one of the playtesters for this game. So my rule clarity is not 100% either.
I'm a newbie, so I'm going to be coming in like I don't know anything. Oh, wait, I don't.
Nailed it.
All right. So I'm going to pull up a character sheet right here so I can see it, which means I'm going to stop looking at us in doubles. So on your character sheet, you got this little box where you can draw whatever you want in there. It's for you. The character sheet is for you. You can write on it however you want, in whatever language you want, in whatever color you want, as long as you can read what's there. The very first blank on a character sheet is for your character's name and their age. I will be honest with you. The name, when I am creating a character, is the last thing that I ever fill out.
Same.
So there's no right or wrong way to go through character creation. I like getting my stats in first, seeing what I've created, and then the name, I try it on. All right. Same with a personality. Like I play in groups where the game master expects everyone to come into the game with a 3-page background. I know, right? We've got some role-playing snobs in our group. And my answer always is, I have to play a couple of times and make some mistakes as this character.
Same.
To see who they are. All right.
Same.
So in the games that I create, Wyrdscouts included, there's always a mechanic to change your stats if you find that the stats aren't fitting who your character is becoming. So that's in there. I don't want anybody to feel like these are written in blood, unless you're choosing to write on your character sheet in blood, in which case then they are. All right. Yeah. Screaming Dragon says the name comes to mind after you create a character. So I agree. The first thing you probably want to do, though, and we are going to do it in the order in the book. We're all going to do it together. Like if everybody was going off and creating a character on their own, I don't care what order you do it in, but we're going to go through it together, is to choose what sort of fae your ancestor was. And so we have some options here. The big thing to remember is you yourself are not fully fae. You've got a good bit of human in you. But you also have magic from your fae blood, from your fae ancestry. So you've got 9 possible ancestors to choose from. You can be an elfling, all right, which you are descended from the Elfar, all right? You are, and the Elfar are basically like the Lord of the Rings elven fairy folk. Okay, they're the snooty and the beautiful and the tall, and they proceed through the woods in an orderly fashion, riding on the backs of deer, right? Candles on their head. I mean, they're all about the pageantry. Okay, and they are pretty much the nobility of the Weirdwood. You can be a faun, which is a descendant of a satyr. Okay, and the satyr, they pretty much work for the Elfar as their messengers, as their heralds, as their whatever. All right, that's not to say that you as a child work for the Elfar, but you come from satyrs. And the Grovkin, I already mentioned those. They are sort of the troglodyte, goblin-y folk who live underground, like digging in the dirt. They live in caves, growing mushrooms. So that is the Grovkin. You could be descended from the giants, which makes you a half giant. And giants are the original caretakers of the Weirdwood, who were displaced by the Elfar. So half giant children are usually bigger, but that doesn't mean just because they're bigger that they are simpler. You can be a smart half giant. You have to be careful because you're bigger. And what's the next one? Hobs. Hobs are descended from hobgoblins, like Gandersnitch the Goblin. Although Gandersnitch the Goblin had no children, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I mean, thank God.
Can you try out for Barely Balanced? I don't know. Maybe they need half giants. But hobs are descended from hobgoblins, so a tinkering sort of fae that lives around humanity. Pix are descended from pixies. And in this game, pixies are small, okay? And pixies have a life cycle very much like an insect. They have their brownie phase, in which they are on the ground, all right? And they're the hard workers of the pixies. They're the farmers and the gardeners, a little bit like hobbits. And then they build a cocoon around themselves and grow wings and become the aerial pixies, which I think we called them sprites in this. That one I have to look up. So because they do have the brownie phase and then the not brownie phase. Well, I don't see it.
The brownie phase and then the cupcake phase.
And then the cupcake, the winged cupcake phase, right?
And then you have the full-size cake. Pie is right out.
Yep.
No pie.
So Pixies covers both the flying around winged fairies that you think of when you think of British paintings, and the brownies, the littles, the gnomes, those are all under pixies. And I just lost my page looking stuff up. That was dumb of me, because there's 2 more. There's 3 more. You could be a Pook, which is descended from Puka, which is a Welsh fairy that is a mischievous fairy like Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream. But they have a kinship with animals. So they relate better with animals than with people. And you can be a river child, which means you are descended from a naiad or a fairy spirit of the river. Okay, so not really a mermaid, since this is a forest game and mermaids are more of an ocean sort of thing. They're the river version of a mermaid. They're the beautiful fairies that live in the river, or the ugly fairies that live deep in the river in the mud and come out to eat people. So
they will mess you up.
They will mess you up. And the last one in here is a sapling, which you are descended from dryads, or the tree fairies. And in the dryads, the female tree spirit dryads bond with a single tree. The male dryads are actually known as druss or druze, depending on which country you're taking the word from. And they bond with a section of the forest to defend the trees. All right. So if a female dryad bonds with one tree, the male doesn't get to bond with the tree. They kind of have to watch over the trees. But as a sapling, you wouldn't bond with a tree anyway. You're descended from these folks. So does anyone have an ancestry that immediately jumps out and they say, that's what I want to be?
I was leaning towards a couple of them, either satyr, hob, or puka.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go through this one by one. Because all Wyrdscouts have 2 magical abilities that are granted by their ancestry. For the fawn, descended from the satyrs, you get sure-footed and goat's grace. Sure-footed means that you will never accidentally fall down. No matter what happens, you are not going to accidentally fall down. Somebody could bull rush you and take you to the ground. But even if an earthquake happens, you're not going to accidentally fall down. And they get goat's grace, which you can climb any solid surface, no matter how steep or slick, so long as it's capable of holding your weight. All right.
So I could climb up a straight, flat wall.
Yes, you could. Yes,
a flagpole. Yeah, flagpoles are easy.
Climb up a flagpole. So the question was raised about a half centaur, and we actually address centaur in the book.
Oh.
You cannot, at this point in this version of the rules, be descended from the centaurs. Centaurs, mythologically speaking, were not a forest race. They were a plains race and a hill race of fae from Greece. And the only reason we think of them as a forest thing is because of the Harry Potter series. But when you actually stop and think about horses in the forest or centaurs in the forest, there's a lot of roots to trip over. There's a lot of way to break those horsey legs. There's trees to run into, get smacked into. So we early on, and all the kids are like, I want to be a centaur. I want to be a centaur, because I saw it in Harry Potter. And this was the one thing that I didn't bend on. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to my world to have centaurs in this forest. But we did explain it, that long ago, due to their dangerous natures, the centaurs were chased out of the Weirwood by the giants. These creatures and other less savory sorts, like trolls, will be explored in a future book about the darkest parts of the forest. So if you really want to play a centaur, there is a chance that in a year or 2, you might be able to play a centaur. So fawns, the satyrs, are often athletic, energetic, adventurous, and somewhat silly. They also tend to be fond of music and poetry. As they journey through the Weirdwood, they will most likely develop, a smattering of freckles. Shows she's already got it going on. Their ears may transform into those of a goat, and they might grow horns.
Horns?
Horns? You also mentioned a hob. descended from the hobgoblins. Hobs are often shorter than their peers and can be fond of cleaning, tinkering, and making crafts. As they journey through the Weirdwood, their hair tends to become wild and unruly, their fingers and toes become gnarled and knobby, and their eyes may change to a strange and unnatural color. The abilities that your hob blood grants you is you can ignore the elements. So you are able to squat in a fire without getting burned. You may not be injured in any way by heat, fire, or freezing cold. Okay, you can shrug off the elements. And then sparkle and shine, you may make any object you touch look shiny and new. Okay, but it's temporary. If you don't put in the effort to actually make it shiny and new by polishing it or cleaning it up or fixing it, it's only an illusion and it will fade at the next sunrise or sunset. And I think the last one you said was a pook.
Pook.
All right. So pooks are often playful, clever, bold, and have a strong affinity for animals. As they journey through the Weirdwood, they will most likely develop a single white or black streak in their hair and can even start to display such features and mannerisms of a single animal, such as the eyes of a cat, the teeth of a squirrel, or the tail of a fox. Their abilities, granted by their blood, is member of the pack. The blessing of the puka means that you will not be attacked by normal forest creatures, so long as you don't attack them first. All right, so a bear is not going to attack you in the woods unless you attack it. Now, something like a dire bear that's been enchanted to hunt you down and eat you, that will still attack you. All right.
Awkward.
And animal speech. You may speak to any forest animals in a normal human tongue and be understood. You can also understand the animal, whether it chirps, growls, barks, or hisses, and return. This isn't mind control. You can't force animals to do what you want them to do, but you can use it to talk to animals to gather information and maybe convince them to help you. So those were the three you mentioned, Mab.
I'm going pook.
You're going pook. All right.
I'm feeling the pook.
So Mab is taking a pook. So Mab
taking a pook.
I'm pooking all over the place right now. I am pooking so hard.
Oh my.
So Mab, you'll want to write down that your ancestry is pook, and you'll want to write down a summary of those two abilities so that you remember what you can do. And you got lines on your character sheet to do that. All right. Anybody else? May or Shoshi?
I
All right,
know.
May.
After listening and actually going through them, I really think I want to be a sapling, which is
okay.
really different from what I normally play. Because I think if I read correctly, they're a little more introverted. Shocking, not me.
They can do.
Yeah. And I think I kind of want to play with that. And it's something like a healer. I'm usually a combat tank whenever I do play any game. So I kind of want to not murder everything for once.
All right. And again, the goal of this game is not to murder everything.
Exactly.
So that there is, and when we get to combat works the same as baking a cake in this game because the goal is not to murder everything. So
the goal is to eat cake.
Right, is to eat cake.
This is like it was made for me.
Descended from the dryads, tend to be long-limbed with a fondness for trees and plants, tend to have strong convictions, and often have a sense of guardianship over those who are bullied or picked on. Saplings can also be shy and introverted. As they journey through the Weirdwood, they usually develop a healthy glow about them, a tinge of green to their hair, and a nutty burnish to their skin. Their abilities, granted by the dryads, you have the ability to photosynthesize. So you don't actually need to eat in the Weirdwood. As long as you have fresh water, clean water, and sunshine, you're good. All right?
Do we need to eat?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, guys.
Yes. You also have the ability of healing touch as long as your skin is touching fertile ground, meaning you might have to take your shoes off or you might have to put one hand on the dirt. You can touch another living thing and heal almost any damage they have suffered. But doing this drains your energy a little bit, okay? You're essentially becoming a conduit for the growing healing powers of the earth, and passing them through you onto somebody else. And some of your own healthiness gets caught up in that and pushed along. So it does give you a degree of injury when you do this. But it's a bruised level of injury, so it's easy to overcome. It just means basically you're going to be a little exhausted when you heal somebody.
I really like the guardianship one. I think that's what kind of spoke to me on a spiritual level. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. And when I present these, like, because I've had people play very boisterous saplings, it's a generalization. You don't have to be shy and introverted. It's a lot of them are. You can play it however you want. All right, that leaves you, Shoshi.
So I'm wavering between a giant or a pixie.
Okay.
I know those are like the two extremes. I like them
love
both.
it.
I can't figure out which one I want.
All right. Well, Pix are usually smaller and more delicate than their peers. They often possess a fondness for flowers and dancing and are prone to giggling. I don't know if that fits you at all, Shoshi. Sarcasm. As they journey through the Weirdwood, their facial features tend to become more adorable, with a dainty nose and pointed ears, and they often shrink a little bit more, becoming considerably shorter than their companions. The abilities of a Pix are light as a feather. You cannot
stiff as a
fly.
board.
All right, stiff as a board. You cannot fly. All right, but if you fall from any height, you will spiral down like a feather or one of those propeller seeds and not take any damage from falling. Okay? Your second ability is small as a mouse. So you can at will shrink down to about 4 inches tall. Okay? Your clothes and things that are personal belongings can shrink with you if you want them to, and you can return to normal whenever you want. So that's a pixie. Small, cute, and they shrink.
That's super hella cute.
I know, it's really adorable.
Giants, half giants. Though you're not tall enough to peer over the treetops, half giants are most likely bigger than their peers and usually a bit clumsy, like an overgrown puppy who doesn't know its own strength. They are often loyal, protective, and thoughtful. As they travel through the Weirdwood, they grow larger and stronger and sometimes lose their hair. So, I don't know. If you're not willing to shave your head for this role, Shoshi, I'm messing. Many such scouts eventually end up several feet taller than their companions. Their magical abilities are solid stance. This blessing means that while you might accidentally fall down, you can never intentionally be knocked over. So it's like the opposite of the fawn, all right, where they're not going to fall down no matter what's going on. You could be clumsy and fall down, but nobody's going to knock you over. All right. And then
nobody bothers me.
Yep. Incredible strength. You are able to channel the ancestral strength of the giants to aid your friends. You never need to worry about something being too heavy to lift, pull, or push. It won't be. However, if you try to use your strength to hurt another living being, it will fail entirely and leave you even weaker than a mouse until the next sunrise or sunset.
Oh, man. It's still a really hard choice.
It kind of is.
Because as fun as it would be to like get slightly more adorable, I feel a real connection to being like a puppy that doesn't understand how their body works yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of my experience. I think I'm going to go with the half giant. I think
really
a lot of fun to play.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Well, and it's that classic adolescence thing. Your body is growing
very large.
Right. And you don't have full control of it yet. So there's a comment in there that the Discord link is invalid that the MooBot is putting up. So I don't actually have the Discord link here. But maybe one of the bots can post the Discord link for the viewers.
You got it, Matt, or you want me to do it real quick?
I'm setting it up, please. Please hold. Thank you for holding.
Yeah,
your Discord is important. Yeah. Mage Kyla? Mage Akala. It's a good name.
Oh, that's happening. I have a question. So in the giant description of how they look, it's that they get taller and they might lose their hair, right?
Yeah, but they don't have
cool.
to. I was kidding. Please do not shave your head for this. Don't shave your head for this.
Maybe that's why you always wear a hat. Maybe it's thinning up top.
I do have a really big forehead. I could just like pull it back.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for that. You gotta prep people before you like.
Oh my goodness!
I also have a big forehead.
I was about to say, did you shave your head? I was like, did you shave your head for real for this?
It's fine.
Like, no.
I'm not self-conscious about it. It's fine.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, I too have a big forehead. I just let my roots get real dark, and then I use those baby hairs to kind of cheat it.
Yeah, you. My baby hairs are my best friends. Let me tell you.
So
wigs are great too. Wigs are great too.
I don't know if this will make you feel any better or not. But when I was performing, I had long hair in a ponytail. All right, and from wearing that ponytail and reaching middle age, my hairline.
Oh yes, honey. Oh yes.
Should be right here.
Yes, honey.
And it has gone back quite a bit. So I cut my hair this year. I no longer have it in a ponytail. In the hope of slowing that down just a little bit.
I can tell you, as a person that has put several weaves in their head, that's probably why my forehead is big now, because tracks, braids will thin out your hair, pulling it tight will thin out your hair.
Yep.
That's where I wig it now, because I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So I honestly, you know what? I have no problem with the gray. I've been gray since my last year of college. But
I've been graying since I was 16, which is probably why I dye my hair a lot.
Whoa!
Yeah, my grandmother was born with a gray streak in her head, and all of us have gray real early now. So
that's so cool.
That's why I dye my hair a lot.
Seriously, I'm excited for my gray.
That's what I'm starting to get gray around here, and I'm really hoping I get a Doctor Strange.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes.
Robert, you've got the Doctor Strange happening.
Yeah,
if I cut my hair
very
short,
well.
You already have
the
beard, the goatee look. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
But these gray streaks. Sorry, I can't. That's all gray.
No, I see it.
That's been gray since college.
Hi, welcome to our Twitch channel where we talk about how we're going gray
and getting older.
how we're dealing with it.
Right. This is a game about playing kids. There's a reason we're playing kids, because we can't handle middle age.
Sorry. Nope. Stop. Hold on. Nope. Kid, don't Nope.
Oh!
Nope. This is the one I drew myself. Okay. Can you?
You're fine. Oh, hang on. His face is covered by the branding. That's not it. There you go. Now we can see him.
Now you can be obnoxious.
Hello.
Okay.
All right, come on.
So,
that was an awesome noise.
My kids. Okay, can you go eat dinner? Okay, say bye. Say bye. All right, bye, little one. Go. Go.
You're fine.
Continue. He's gonna be here.
Right. The next thing you're going to want to do is assign your 4 virtues. There are 4 virtues in the Wyrdscouts. They are bravery, charm, cleverness, and helpfulness. These 4 virtues form your 4 core stats. Okay? So every action you take will fall into one of those virtues. All right? So if you are standing down, facing off with we'll say a wolf, all right, and standing there and growling back at the wolf, that's while your friends escape, that's probably bravery. But the flip also applies. If you are using the virtue in an opposite manner, such as running scared from that wolf, that's still your bravery. Okay? You're just using it
Bravely running away. I understand there was a song written about that.
You're being smart.
Right. You're being smart. So the virtues cover using them in an overt manner, and they also cover using them kind of the opposite of them, if that makes sense. And it won't right now, but once we get into the mechanics of the game, it will make sense, I hope.
Okay.
So the next virtue is charm. Oh, and bravery is exactly what it sounds like. This virtue represents your ability to face your fears, keep guard over those who are weaker, put a selfish ogre in his place, stand tall in the presence of queens, sneak steadily past a slumbering dragon, climb the tallest trees, and take a leap of faith into the darkness. That's all bravery. Scouts who excel in bravery may find themselves in trouble more often than most, but they are great to have on your side when the going gets tough. Charm is the next virtue. A weird scout is charming. Not everything in the Weirdwood can be handled head-on, and sometimes the best bet is to talk your way out of a situation. This virtue represents your affinity for chumming, fast-talking, deception, and persuasion, be that by smiling your way out of trouble, convincing a hungry troll that you would make a terrible meal, covering for your missing mates, or making an Elfar prince your best friend. And then we have cleverness. A weird scout is clever. There's a lot to learn in the Weirdwood, and nobody can know it all, but those who prize this virtue are good at gathering knowledge, thinking outside the box, and putting what they know to good use. You would use this for problem solving, figuring puzzles and riddles, gathering secrets, deciphering strange languages, recreating magic spells, performing math, uncovering clues, or explaining complicated ideas. And the last one is helpfulness. I don't know of any other role-playing game that has helpfulness as a stat, but it is one of the core stats for a Weird Scout. A Weird Scout is helpful. There's a lot of the folks in the Weirdwood who have troubles, and those who follow this scouting ways are often well-positioned to lend a hand. This virtue represents your aptitude for helping others out and making the best of a situation, be it by listening, offering suggestions, lending a hand, making a gift to lift someone's spirits, pulling the team together, or tending to a broken leg. So these four, bravery, charm, cleverness, and helpfulness, are your four core stats. Everything you do will fall into one of these. And sometimes things can fall into more than one. All right. There are ways to run away from that wolf that might be brave, or they might be clever. If you're weaving around trees and ducking in a hole so you lose him, that's probably clever over bravery. So your approach in how you do something will tend to guide which virtue it is. Now, you can only be the best in one of these virtues. All right.
Okay.
So one of these virtues, you're going to assign a 3 to it. And what these numbers mean is that is the number of dice you will pick up to roll whenever you take an action that falls under this virtue. Yes, May.
Yeah, so what kind of dice do we use for this game?
We use
Yeah.
D10s.
Woo!
We use these. Can I show them on camera? Probably not without dropping them all.
There you go.
We use D10s. I'm dropping them all. Now they're all over the floor. So it's a D10 die. I have some pretty purpley ones. And honestly, each player probably wants 10 D10s.
Wow.
And that's a standard set of D10s that you can get on Amazon or from any gaming store. The 10D10 dice packs were put out for some older role-playing games in the 90s, but are still used by plenty of role-playing games.
But I just want whole sets because that's why I have all these pink dice.
Well,
I'll just buy 6 more dice sets of varying shades of pink.
you don't have to do that. You can actually buy.
Hey, stop.
Okay. All right.
Stop.
Okay.
I gotta add to my collection. What's wrong? Don't stop me.
So, but you can actually buy a set that is 10 D10s.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just being
All right.
silly.
If you want to buy 10 sets of polyhedral die, so you have them all, you can do that.
Yes. See, like this is a marble, and then this one has pink bows inside of it, and then this one is another marbled one, and this one has speckles of glitter in it because the burlesque person in me had to have glitter dice.
Boom!
Dice
Called out by just
dice envy. Dice envy.
You're right, just some guy. I really could just make my own.
You could, yeah.
I may have to.
So my D10s actually have an acorn for the 10.
Oh, that's right.
That's cute.
So these were specifically made for the Kickstarter of this game.
I may or may not be going to Amazon right now. Pink D10 dice.
Pink D10 dice. There you go.
Oh, these are cute.
D10s that are 10 all the way around.
All right. So
yes,
you're going to want to pick which virtue is your strongest and put a 3 in that. You're going to want to pick which virtue is your weakest and put a 1 in that one. So whichever way you want to look at it, either, I'm pretty sure I'm not a brave character. I'll put my 1 there. Or, I'm pretty sure I'm the most helpful scout there's ever been. I'm going to put a 3 there. However you want to look at it, your top one gets a 3, your bottom one gets a 1.
Done.
I'm probably jumping ahead.
No, you're fine.
The other
two
one in
get a 2.
between.
The one in between gets a 2. So you'll have a 3, a 2, a 2, and a 1.
Oh, okay.
So, Mav, have you already assigned yours?
Yes.
All right. What did you put as your strongest virtue?
Oh, then everyone's gonna know. Okay, yeah, no, I don't have any problems with that. So cleverness, I have at 3.
Okay.
Bravery, I have at 1. She's very smart and not very brave.
All right. May, have you got yours assigned?
yes. So
Okay.
I have her at 2 for bravery, 1 for charm, because I am gonna go with the little shy introvert thing because
Sure.
it is different. 2 for cleverness and 3 for helpfulness because I feel like that suits her for the sapling.
All right. And Shoshi, our half giant.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with charm as a 3, and helpfulness as a 1, not because she lacks in desire to be helpful, but she's so clumsy that oftentimes when she tries to help, things doesn't end up being helpful. She frequently makes the wrong choice in how to be helpful.
All right. There you go.
But her enthusiasm is there.
The will is there, but the body
It just doesn't sound working for me.
That gives us a nice range, which is great for building a troop in this. We've got the Puka, who's very clever. We've got the sapling, who's very helpful, and we've got the half giant, who's very charming.
Thank goodness, because she's gonna drop all your stuff.
But you're gonna love her for doing it.
That's right.
All right. So the next thing, and if anybody wants to hold up their character sheet again, that would be awesome. Just the bottom half. So yeah, I'm gonna put Shoshi big on the screen.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, it's the badges.
The
I've been
badges.
wondering
That's
that.
the next thing we're gonna do. Okay. So badges in this game are kind of like skills in Dungeons and Dragons. Every time you do something, you're going to figure out what virtue that falls under and what badge it falls under. And you will add those two numbers together to roll that many dice. All right, I'm not going to make you big anymore. So we have to pick what badges, what skills you start in the Weirdwood with. Okay, what badges you've already got a handle on. Now, you're going to get 7 points to put in the badges of your choice. There's 12 badges, and while you're looking at assigning your points, I'll go through what each one means. You may not put more than 2 points in a single badge to start with. So you cannot be a master at anything yet, okay? Once you get all 5 points in a badge through spending experience at the end of each adventure, you are considered to have mastered that badge. Then you can color it in all nice on your character sheet, or you don't have to be nice about it. and you get a special ability, another magical ability from mastering that badge.
Oh.
So not only does increasing in the badge make it more likely that you're going to succeed at a mechanical test, once you've mastered that badge, you get a new magical ability.
What?
Yeah. So the badge.
I like it. That reflects how you're becoming more and more Fae.
Yeah.
Yes. It does. And it also is designed so that about every 3 sessions of play, a character or a player will be able to have a new special ability to use. So about every 3 games, you essentially go up a level, right? And you get a new power to play with. So you start with 2 abilities, and it takes folks time to get their brain around how the mechanics work and what they can do. Like, I hate when I start a Dungeons and Dragons character, especially a spellcaster, when I've got like 30 things on my character sheet I can do at level 1 or 2, I'm only going to remember 1 or 2 of those things and use them.
Truth.
Right.
Truth.
So it goes a little bit slower in this. So I'm going to go through the badges while they are looking at their points. We have an Alchemy Badge, which is the skill of creating potions and oils and poisons and glues and black powder and all of that. So if you're wanting to create something, or I was going to say mud pies, but we'll get to mud pies in a minute. So it's like basically your magic potion making. And when we say magic potion, you don't necessarily have to use magical ingredients. You could be a kid making a potion out of toothpaste, hairspray, glitter, and bubbles right in the backyard. That's alchemy. Okay. And in the Weirdwood, that potion may do something besides give you diarrhea if you drink it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Kids, if you actually make a potion with bubbles, hairspray, and mud and drink it, you're not going to feel so good later. You can have a great time making it. You're not going to feel so good later. All right. The next badge is Arts and Crafts. And this badge covers making stuff. Okay. Whether that's knickknacks, folk instruments, fishing lures, macaroni necklaces. It also is the art skills of painting, sewing, weaving, sculpting, jewelry making, knot tying, leatherworking, all of those sort of arts and crafts classes at summer camp. That's the Arts and Crafts badge. Athletics is the badge that covers all of your physical activities. So that's running, jumping, swimming, swinging, lifting heavy things, using a bow and arrow. And it will also be the badge that you use if you had to punch somebody in the nose. All right. That is all under athletics. The next badge is camping and exploring. These are your general camping skills. All right. Pinching a tent, hunting, foraging, first aid falls under camping and exploring, fishing, boating, tracking, and navigation. All the general things that we think of about scouts going out into the woods, that's under the camping and exploring badge. There is a badge for cooking, and cooking is exactly what it sounds like. It's the creation of food. Be it creating a hearty stew over the campfire, whipping together a bacon, mutton, and tomato sandwich for a hungry ogre, or baking wildflower cookies fit for the Elfar Queen. Thank you for the chuckle there. Yes, I stole that line. Cooking, I think, would also cover, if you were trying to make a mud pie and make it a tasty, edible mud pie, that would be cooking. The next badge, this one's a little strange for folks. It's heraldry and manners. Not normally a thing you would associate with scouting, but something you very much associate with the Fae. This badge is your knowledge and ability to apply that knowledge about the strange historical taboos, customs, and arcane protocols among the Fae. So the heraldry and manners badge is useful when you are researching Weirdwood laws, because there are strange laws in the Weirdwood. Knowing the social norms dealing with different types of Fae. That's all heraldry and manners. Next badge, hide and seek. Okay, so this badge covers both. If you are trying to hide from something or you're trying to find something, it is the hide and seek badge. Yes. Oh, the precious stones, wood, dice. I'm gonna put that up there. Getting all sorts of cool dice. The wormwood, different than weirdwood. That Y makes different sounds depending on what word it's in. Weirdwood, that's this game. Wormwood is they make custom wooden dice holders and metal dice and gemstone dice. They're a cool company of cool people. So I don't know how to make that go away now that I put it up there. There we go.
Look at it again. Oh.
Got it. So the next badge is the Knavery Badge. This badge sort of covers those almost criminal activities, which should be a strange thing to get a badge in.
What?
Like in the Scouts. But in the Weirdwood, being able to pick a pocket, bypass a lock, or disarm a trap is often a necessity. This badge reflects those skills of dexterity and misdirection that might be frowned upon in polite circles, but are absolutely fair game when dealing with the Fae. The next badge is music and dance. It's exactly what it sounds like. This covers your ability to play a musical instrument, recognize particular sounds or patterns, dance, either a formal dance or an interpretive dance, singing, composing, humming, all of that. Couple more badges to go here. Mythical Beasts. The Mythical Beast badge covers your knowledge of fantastic creatures.
Where to find them. I'm sorry.
And where to find them, right? So this encompasses identification and behaviors of animals, befriending, riding, grooming, and training of beasts, both magical and mundane. So Mythical Beast will cover, basically, if you know how to handle a Pegasus, you should know how to handle a horse. So it covers both aspects of that. 2 more badges to go. Puzzle Craft is a badge about thinking through a mental problem. We're not a monster hunting badge. We're not supposed to kill the monsters. You're supposed to outthink the monsters. So whenever a character wants to try to decipher a strange text, puzzle out a riddle, determine what sort of magic is at work in a curse, you would use Puzzle Craft. And yes, Mythical Beast is the animal handling skill check badge. But unlike that other game, Dungeons and Dragons, you would probably use camping and exploring to handle your boating checks, not animal handling. So the last badge in the game is storytelling and lore. Okay, this is your knowledge of old tales and the skill of telling a story or performing a story to entertain others. As most storytelling involves some degree of falsehood, this badge also covers the ability to deceive others with words or expressions. So if you're trying to play innocent, acting innocent, that's the storytelling and lore badge. If you are trying to tell a convincing lie, you are telling a story, that's the storytelling and lore badge. Okay, so any questions about any of those 12 badges? Is there a haiku badge? Probably storytelling and lore. I'll pause here before they ask questions. I started playing this game on the Switch that just came out a couple days ago, called Cozy Cove, I believe it is. It is like Animal Crossing. It's that style of game, except you are a scout on a haunted island. Okay, so you are going around, and I didn't realize, but it's very much kind of like Wyrdscouts. You've got these old spirits that need things done, and you're going and you're helping them and earning badges. And they've got like 100 different badges that you earn. And some of them are the normal ones, collect 10 fish or start 5 fires. But in playing this game, I was thinking, when I do a supplement for Wyrdscouts, I want to have a whole bunch of other sort of quirky badges that you could earn, like your supplemental badges. You get your 12 main ones, but yeah, if you're a haiku master and you earn the haiku badge, yes, I want those. for the base game, we could only fit 12, but I like that idea. All right. So any questions about the badges? No. All right.
I just want to be clear, in this game, we do need stinking badges, right?
We need badges.
You need stinking badges. That's kind of the whole point of your mechanical journey is to collect your badges. Okay. Not so much collecting Pokemon in this game, but definitely getting the badges. Storytelling badge, manners badge, badge. No one would see or believe you stealing. There you go.
I mean,
yeah. There you go. All right. Has everybody got their badges assigned?
No, wait a minute. BLC Blondie's got some really good points here. I mean,
you want to change them? Change them.
I don't know, right? Mav's like, wait.
So chances are you will not be able to start with everything you want. That's by design. Okay. Having a 1 in a badge is very useful. Having a 2 in a badge at this point is going to guide the sort of actions you're going to take, the sort of role you're going to fill. Yes, ma'am.
Did you say 7?
7 total.
Point.
No
Okay.
more than
3, 4,
2
5, 6.
in a single badge.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So they're doing the thing. And like I said, the way this works is the mechanics. Whenever somebody tries to take an action, let's say they are trying to pick a lock, they would take their Knavery Badge and probably Cleverness if somebody's just trying to pick a lock to break into a wizard's study or something, probably Cleverness there. So they would look at their Cleverness score and pick up that many dice. They would look at how many points they have in that badge and pick up that many dice and roll those dice. What they are looking for on the dice is numbers that match. So it's not you're trying to roll higher than a certain number or lower than a certain number. You're looking for numbers that match. Okay. And as long as the numbers match, it doesn't matter what number they are. And we'll go over that again when we start rolling dice, but that's the basics. Your actions are going to tend to fall in the things that you have your strongest virtue in and that you have badges in. Okay. You can do actions that don't fit those, but let's say you need to do cooking and you don't have anything in cooking badge. You're not very skilled at cooking yet. You're absolutely welcome to try and make that recipe.
Because you're helping out. So you got helpfulness.
Right? You got
3 dice in helpful.
There you go.
So
I'm not going to eat it, but you're welcome to roll for it.
Okay.
So another thing, while we're on that, we might as well cover teamwork, because being in a troop, that's a big part of it is teamwork. Anybody can help anybody else out as long as they can justify it. All right. So let's say Mab is making that, whatever she just said she was making, that cake. All right. With the Helpfulness badge, but she doesn't have any cooking. So let's say May has a point in cooking. Well, May can help Mab make that cake by saying, oh, you know what? Don't use those mushrooms. Use these mushrooms. Okay. And in doing so, May gives Mab, through the magic of the screen, one of her dice. In which case, Mab will just, since we're playing virtually, pick up one more dice to add to her roll. And that's how teamwork works, is you just help somebody by giving them another dice to roll. Kind of like the people on stream can help you by spending their points to give you a dice to roll. Yes, Shoshi.
If I also helped,
Yes.
would Mab get another extra dice?
She would get another extra dice.
Nice.
Okay? So that's how
which I
teamwork
need,
works.
because so far I don't have any pairs. I have just because of now I did this as a test roll too. Because I didn't have cooking, but we used I was going to use Cleverness because I'm making a very clever, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to cook. So I rolled 3 dice there, 1 from May, 1 from Shoshi, and so now that's 5 dice, and I've got a 4, an 8, a 6, a 3, and a 7. So 0.
So 0 matches.
Matches.
You would fail making that However, I'm going to throw one more thing at you, and we'll go back over these rules when we actually start to play the game. But it sort of makes sense to explain it now as we're picking badges. There's one other mechanic in play here, and that is your fairy stones. So if you look at the screen now, your troop together has 3 fairy stones. They're right under the Sunday Side Quest logo.
Oh.
All right. Anyone in the group can take one of these fairy stones whenever they want to change a number on their die to another number. Okay. And
just any number I want?
Any number you want. Okay. And it's not a voting mechanic. It's just if you need one, if Mab were to say, you know, making this cake is very important to me, she could take a fairy stone and change one of the numbers on her die. You will get fairy stones back through the course of the game. So we've got a tracker up there that shows how many fairy stones the group has. Yes. And when they're all gone, they're all gone. So,
any questions from the peanut gallery? On
all right. And that's actually the basics of the mechanics right there. We covered the basics of the mechanics in character creation.
So
right there.
I can change any one of these dice numbers to another number. Does it matter, like, if I have matching 8s or matching 2s?
It does not.
Okay. So now I have one matching set of 8s because I used one of those little fairy stones and changed it. I have made a cake. It is not a great cake, but it is a cake.
It is a cake. And the way the mechanics in this game work, the way successes work, is if you have a pair, 2 dice that match numbers, that is known as a costly success. You have succeeded, but there is a cost to the success, a narrative cost. And I might say, okay, Mab, your cake is edible, all right, but it tastes very strongly of mushrooms. It's not as sweet as you wanted. And that might be the cost that applied. If you got 3 dice that matched, so you had 8, 8, and 8, that is a solid success. And there's no cost. You do what you wanted to do, and there's no drawback. If you get, let me change to the page that has the mechanics here as I'm explaining.
So basically, we suck at everything right now.
You suck at everything right now, okay? If you get 4 numbers that match, 4 numbers that match. Well, yeah. I mean.
All right, let's be honest. Just some guy from Tennessee. It's because I'm a real fun guy.
Exactly. If you get 4 numbers that match, that's a spectacular success. Things go even better than you had wanted. The next twist to that is, let's say Mab had 2 8s and a pair of 2s. Okay, so she doesn't have 4 of a kind because they don't all match each other. She's got a costly success and a bonus. That extra pair gives her a bonus, which will be an and statement. So, Mab, you make that cake with a costly success, and I say it tastes strongly of mushrooms, but you can tack on to that, and
after you eat it, everyone sees things more vividly.
There you go. All right. And whatever that and statement is, if it fits within the realm of what we're doing, that's what happens. She could also say, and it's really beautiful decorating. So they don't care that it tastes like mushrooms because it's just a cake to look at. Or, and I did not use any poisonous mushrooms if she thinks I'm being crafty and that someone's going to get sick from her cake later on that she made out of mushrooms. So that's another way you can help out. All right. Back to character creation. Has everybody assigned their 7 points of badges? We're not going to go over and tell the audience what your badges are, unless you really want to tell people what you're good at. We could let that be a surprise as it comes up, but it's up to you. If you really want to show and tell, like I am absolutely awesome at camping or something, feel free as I look for the next page of what we're supposed to do in character creation. Here we go. All right. Everybody got their badges? Yes? Okay. So now you're going to write down the other stuff. Okay. You should pick what age you are. And if you have an idea of a name now, go ahead and write that name down. If you don't have an idea of a name, you can turn it over to the chat and let them help you pick a name, or you can get the Fang name generator on your Android phone. It's an awesome app. I have nothing to do with it, but as a person who runs a lot of games, it's an app on the phone. It's the Fang Fantasy Name Generator, right there. And basically, I can just click what kind of name I want. Like if I wanted a human in D&D that was a male, and I click the dice, and it makes me names. Or I can click up here and say, I want a World of Warcraft name that's a goblin, and it makes me Wedgie Two Cheeks. No, Wizzink Pickspark, not as cool of a name, and you just keep rolling it until you find names that you want. And it actually stores up the names, so I could go back and look through the list in case I kept clicking. Great app. If you're running games, put that app on your phone. It's free. Unfortunately, it's not available for Apple, I was told. It's only on Android phones.
It's fantasy name generators?
Fantasy Name Generator. Yeah, another dungeon master told me about that when I was having trouble picking a name.
Yeah, there's an online version. That's why I was like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar. There's a website version because I've used it for other stuff.
Yes, right. It's a great name generator. I love it. So there's your dungeon master story guide, storyteller tip for the day. Get that app on your phone. Go ahead, Soshi.
So when we're picking our names, are these Fae names, or are these our real names in real life?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So it is your character's name.
Yeah.
If your character is, you can put a nickname down. Okay. So if your character is, and I talk about nicknames in here. So your Xbox handle, probably not a great character name. Okay. Rad Gamer 77. Maybe that's not a great character name, but your parents may have been weird because you've got fairy blood in your ancestry. So they may have given you an odd or different name, or you may have picked an odd or different name for yourself. And that's totally cool. The name that you put on your character sheet should be the name that you want to be referred by. And it's going to be the name that next week will show up underneath your picture when we do this show next Sunday. So, because I won't remember what names you pick unless they're right there in front of me.
Right. Same, Sally, because I thought I knew, and here I am, pen to paper, going,
Yep. So I use apps to I was gonna say I've got a whole list of character names for my next novel that I could use. I was gonna put them up on the screen, and then I'm like, no, that's not wise because
Yep.
I don't want anybody else taking one of those names. Those are like gold, a good name over here on the board. So you're going to want to pick one thing that your character likes and one thing that your character dislikes. This is going to go on the back of your character sheet. And these can be anything. They can be the obvious things, like you like pizza and you hate broccoli. I mean, you can put yourself in the mind of a 8 to 13-year-old and pick something, but it could also be something different, something off the wall. You might decide to dislike something opposite from, or you might decide, hey, I really like bugs, or You know,
I was literally finishing the S on the word bugs when you said that.
Yeah. You could put down that, you know, I dislike the color blue. I don't like it. So whatever you want, a like and a dislike. And while we're on the topic of names and name generators, one way that the players in this game get more fairy stones is by naming NPCs. None of the NPCs in any adventure will have a name. Some of them may have titles. The Elfar often have titles that refer to them, like the Traveler or the Game Master or the Seamstress, but their names, the name of characters, the players will get to decide on a name of that character when they meet them for the first time, and provide an interesting detail about that character. This does two things for the game. One, when you're playing with kids, it gives those kids another layer of ownership of the game. They get to be creative beyond just their own character and start to help create the world. We're also going to let the chat do some of that. So if nobody on the screen has a name, I'm going to look over at chat, and whatever name they've given an NPC, I'm going to grab it. Or everyone ends up as Bob.
Can I call dibs on Bob as my name?
On Bob is your name. It can be Bob.
My name is Bob.
Your name is Bob. The other reason I did this in the game is somebody pointed out you have a list of NPC names whenever you're running an adventure. I always forget to do that. So it's much easier for me to say, oh, yeah, okay, you want to go talk to that random person that I hadn't thought about anything at all about them, that all I said was they're shoveling hay into a cart, and that's the character you pick you want to talk to? Cool. What's their name? You get to name them. You get a fairy stone for it, and we can roll on without me going, who is this person? What's their name? So that's built into the game. That's one of the ways the players get rewarded, is by naming stuff. On the lines of naming stuff, I have veto power over the detail you give them. So if I say, oh, you meet this scary wicked witch, you can't say, oh, her name is Thumbelina and she really loves us. Yeah, I'll take the name, but she may not really love you. So it's not a way to derail the adventure. All right, and the last thing is, on your character sheet, you're going to see that you have some stuff already written down. Okay, this is stuff that every scout gets. All right, a backpack, a sleeping bag, a mess kit, a canteen, a toothbrush, a towel, pajamas, an extra set of clothes, a pocket knife, and a flashlight. You get those things. Okay, it's like when you go to camp, if anybody's ever been to camp, and they give you the list of the things that you need to bring with you. All right, that's your list of things you need to bring with you. However, you may also pick 3 more personal items that you are bringing with you. Now, you are not allowed to bring electronic devices into the Weirdwood. So you can't bring a Nintendo Switch. You can't bring a cell phone. You can't bring a digital camera. You can bring them, but they're not going to work like you expect.
I was so ready to have my Switch as a prop. I'm like, all right.
You can bring it,
and
but
then she'll be like, oh.
If you want to. Well, one, there's no place to plug it in, right? That's the one that always disappoints my kids if we go camping and they bring an electronic device. It's like, okay, well, we've got a battery pack that's running off the sun, but there's a priority to what gets plugged into that battery pack, right? It's the stuff we need to survive. So, yeah, eventually you're going to run out of juice. And at this point, most groups always say, wait a second, I get to bring a flashlight. Isn't that an electronic device? Yes, and it's okay. Because...
The end.
Because... Yeah. There's a section on it in the book. Basically, I don't know any kid that's going to go camping in the dark without a flashlight. It's a standard scouting thing. But you don't want in the game the dependence on Google and GPS. They're not going to work, right? Get a compass, right? So, yeah. And you know what? The batteries in your flashlight may not last. You may not hang on to that flashlight, but you do get to start with one. All right. So, we lost Mab. Does everyone know the 3 things that they've decided to bring with them?
Can I bring my cat?
No.
Can I bring my Madagascar cockroach? They are hissing.
Yeah.
I can bring my Madagascar hissing cockroach?
Yes. Yes. I would say, Mab, your character would be discouraged from taking a cat.
But they're very good.
Yes. Yeah, but if you lose the cat in the Weirdwood, or it gets eaten by a fox or an eagle or a fish, then there's going to be tears and...
Wait, what kind of fish we got in the that's eating a whole cat? We got bass. We got open mouth bass fish. Like, what's happening?
Maybe.
We got garfish.
Good question. If I want to bring like a notebook and a pencil, does that count as 2 different things?
That counts as
one thing, like a notebook. Okay,
that counts as one thing. Yeah,
cool.
We'll count that as one item. But yeah, I'd say a Madagascar hissing cockroach. Absolutely. Because you keep that in a little thing. And if your Madagascar hissing cockroach gets out and gets lost in the Weirdwood,
you're on your own.
There goes that ecosystem.
Right.
Oh, wait. Can I bring a pet garfish to introduce into the river?
No.
But they are delicious. I'm just going to say that.
Just some guy asked, so if I bring a teddy bear, is there a way to animate it? How
did he know what I was bringing?
In the Weirdwood, there are possibilities there. It is a magical forest. So is there anything in the rule book that says this is how you animate a teddy bear? I don't think so. But is it possible that could happen as part of an adventure or some magic from the Fae? Absolutely.
Okay. I'll steal one of my kids' stuffed animals. I'm still one of my kids' stuffed animals for this.
Do we have a compass collectively among us?
Oh, I was bringing a compass.
Okay. We should. You should talk about the things that you are bringing.
Well, she's bringing her teddy bear, a lighter, and her compass.
Sounds good.
I'm bringing my kazoo, a notebook, and a pencil, and a scrunchie.
Okay.
Can I have multiple scrunchies? Can it be like a package of scrunchies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I would also say scrunchies could count as your extra set of clothing. Like you don't have to, unless these are very special scrunchies. Like I don't want you to feel like common articles of clothing. You've got that. Now, if you're wanting to have like a pack of 20 scrunchies because you wear them as bracelets, and make nets out of scrunchies,
right?
That's a different sort of
thing.
I
want like a packet of scrunchies.
Can I bring a pack of Bic lighters, like the 3-pack?
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
All right, that means I have 3.
Okay, so here's my theory, right? I've got the Madagascar hissing cockroach and a ball of twine, so I can make like a little leash for my cockroach. I can also talk my cockroach into being a scout because as a puka, I can speak with animals.
I'm so done. I love how she's already finding these loopholes in this game to just wreck it. And Turk is like,
okay, so actually I'm checking the rules because there was talk about talking to bugs. And that may have been a different game. Like I remember an argument either with Mab or with Heather, one of the artists on this game who was a playtester, or possibly even Mage Akila, playtesting at a convention about talking to bugs. And I remember it being a discussion, but it does not seem to have made it into the rule book, whatever the result of that discussion was. So I'm guessing it was, okay, you want to talk to bugs? Talk to bugs. And I think where we drew the line was you can't talk to like gnats or mosquitoes. Like there had to be something important about the bug in question.
Not like
This is Madagascar hissing cockroach.
No, I get it.
They're
I get
amazing.
I totally get it. And I think we've had a character at some point in an adventure talk to a beehive using the puka communication. Yeah, really clever move. But they're like, yeah, because they like think is one mind. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll go with it. But I do also think I had a character want to talk to a swarm of gnats. And I was like, yeah, no. And I think it was because they wanted these individual gnats to spread out through the forest and be their network of spies. And I'm like, no, they're gnats. Come on. they make it about 10 feet and they get slapped. So, yeah. All right. So everybody's got their stuff, right?
Now, how many things were we supposed to pack?
3. You have a cockroach and a ball of twine. I might have talked over the third one.
I haven't figured out the third one yet.
Okay. So she's thinking.
Any suggestions from the audience? I was thinking about candy. But,
kerosene lamp.
no, it's way too practical.
You get a flashlight. Well,
I know.
while you're thinking,
I was
let's
just
see what the
teasing.
audience. Yeah, candy. Somebody
yeah.
mentioned candy. A glitter gel pen, a mini stove.
What about oh wait, we can't use hot plates because there's nowhere to plug in. Just kidding.
Nowhere to plug
I'm
it
just
in.
gonna bring my easy bake oven. No, I think they meant one of those kerosene light up stoves.
Yeah.
No, I think
yeah.
that didn't those use like candles or something? Didn't some of those use candles? Because I think
Oh
the one I
yeah,
had
you
was
can
a
make
candle.
you can make an oven with like a
Yeah,
candle and tin
and you just-
foil.
Yeah.
The Madagascar hissing cockroach is my comfort item.
There you go. So someone said bring a map.
A map?
Bill said
Where?
bring a map.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the same Bill that's the engineer on the railroads, on the trains? Is
Yes.
Bill our
Yes.
train expert?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hi.
So hey, Bill. The Weirdwood changes. So a map, not so useful. All right.
I was about to say,
yeah.
are there maps
It's
of
a
this place?
magical enchanted forest. It defies mapping. Yeah, you can make a small alcohol stove with a cut up soda can, and then you get all these scratches on your hands from cutting the soda can.
Gummy bears. That's a nod to you, Robert.
Yes.
True story.
Yeah. Whenever because I used to perform as Ganderson Goblin with this crew at fairy festivals, and if we're camping and performing, I would come with a pound or two of gummy bears. It started as small bags, but everybody liked eating them around the campfire, so I brought more. And there's 2 reasons that I brought gummy bears. 3 reasons. One, I like the taste.
Medicinal.
They are medicinal. They help soothe your throat. The gelatin in it helps your vocal cords. And the voice that I would do for Ganderson the Goblin was a stressful voice when I started doing it. Mab was there at the very first performance when I lost my voice in the middle of the performance and could not wrangle this group of unruly kids because I couldn't yell at them anymore. But I got better. That was the first performance. But the gummy bears would help lubricate your throat. The gummy bears also stop up the rest of your system, so you don't have to use the porta potties. Yep. True story.
You gotta think ahead. Gotta think ahead, I
Yep.
guess.
It's not the
And
most.
I understand that you can stick them on little tiny skewers and roast them over an open
the
fire.
campfire. Yep. Yes. Yeah, they're delicious
And
that way.
if you're a mad scientist, you can chop them up into sections and make a giant gummy peed.
Oh God.
Oh. Wait, why wouldn't you just get a gummy worm?
Because I am a scientist.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So there there was always a bag of gummy bears at the campsite. There were also other things. The squirrels never messed with the gummy bears, but they did get into the non-dairy creamer and destroyed our campsite.
Okay, I'm so sorry that I have to jump on this tangent because Magnus and I were discussing this yesterday. We had a bunch of chipmunks come in. This is at the New York Fairy Festival. Come down and raid our camp. And somebody had brought a big box of donuts for us earlier in the day, like the day before, and we couldn't eat them all. And the box of donuts was halfway up this mountainous hill. And we just imagined this like chipmunk squirrel going, oh my God, I couldn't eat another bite. But then later in the day, I come down this like the hill, and this chipmunk looks up, and he's got a honking half of peanut in his mouth, and he makes eye contact with me, and he goes, ow, and shoves an entire peanut in his mouth, and he already must have had like 3 or 4 other peanuts jammed in there. I will never forget that image. Ow.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm out of here. So yeah, that happened.
All right. So your troop also gets a few other things. These don't have to go on your character sheet. We're done making characters. You may write down anything else about your character that you want, their name, their age, what they look like, anything you want to write down, totally up to you. But your troop does get some things to help them as a troop going into the Weirdwood. One of those things is the troop journal. Okay, so when you become a Wyrdscouts troop, your first time going into the Weirdwood, you are given this big journal. And it's passed on from another troop that had it before you. Okay, and the first 50 pages or so are the same. They're the basics about the Wyrdscouts organization, you know, how to pitch a tent, how to tie knots, the oath of the Wyrdscouts, which is what we're about to go over, but also stories and journal entries from other scouts that came before you. So you can use the journal, the troop journal, to try and find information or clues when you need it. All right. And it's expected that your troop is also writing your own stories in the journal to keep it going, to pass it on to another younger troop once you all graduate. The very first page of the troop journal gives you the oath of the Wyrdscouts. And this is an oath that you all take in order to join the Wyrdscouts and be allowed into the Weirdwood. The oath was what we played in the video at the beginning, but I'm going to go over it slower right now. Okay. So the first line of the oath is, to the Weirdwood and her people too, I shall be faithful, loyal, and true. You are the ambassadors here between the world you know, the world of humans, and the magical Weirdwood. You're also a guest in the wood, here to be scouts and to help people and to serve. So this part of the oath reminds you to be polite to those people that you meet, no matter how strange they may seem. Learn their ways, gain their trust, and if you see someone in distress, do your best to help them. Okay. Next part of the oath, leaves and branches, roots and bud, I go in peace, I shed no blood. Wyrdscouts must not shed the blood of any fey folk in the woods. To do so is to invite the ire of the Fae, risk expulsion from the scouts, and face the punishment of the Elfar. However, there's no oath that the people of the wood take not to shed your blood. Like, they live here. They don't have to take an oath to live here. This part of the oath reminds you that when you can avoid conflict, do so. When you can't, your best option is usually to run away. If you are trapped, free yourself in the least damaging way possible. Knocking out an ogre with a frying pan or a boulder, heavy boulder dropped, is sometimes necessary. Stabbing an ogre with a sword, probably not. So, does that make sense? there are mystical things that will happen if you shed blood. Now, it only extends to weird folk themselves. So you can fish, you can hunt, you can cut limbs off of trees, although that's frowned upon. It's better to pick up dead wood that you found fallen. And it only covers blood. So broken bones, concussions, black eyes, bruises, all of those are okay. All right. And not to say that beating anyone up is a good idea, just that it won't trigger your oath. All right. And there is no magical shield that stops you from shedding someone's blood. All right. And you can also shed your own. That's actually come up in a game. If you slice open your own hand, that doesn't trigger your oath. Okay. All right. But if you do, if you shed blood, either on purpose or on accident, the oath will trigger and things will happen. Well, if you are a half giant and you use your strength to harm another living creature, you lose your strength. All right. This is a non-combat problem-solving game. So the idea behind it is you are a group of kids, okay, mostly left to your own devices in a magical world that is also bigger and sometimes scarier than you are. All right. If we've got a situation where these three kids are having to take up arms against a troop of trolls, they've made a series of bad choices.
Not just one bad choice, but a series
of bad choices. And if it gets to that point, they're going to have to live with the repercussions of those choices.
I'm reading the comments. I'm dying. Yeah. Was that a motherly hit? It may or may not have been. Seeing my kids when they're left to their own device.
Right. So the idea here is that violence is the last problem-solving solution you should come to.
That.
There are many other options before that. And if violence is the solution you've come at, there have been some failures before this that led to that. Because honestly, if three kids, however magical those kids are, go up against a pack of trolls that are hunting, trolls that are bigger, stronger, and more dangerous, I'm going to tell you right now who's going to lose that head-to-head combat. It's going to be the kids. And this is not supposed to be a game about killing your kids. So it's
that's a whole separate game.
That's another game. Separate game. That's the other game that we play.
That's the other game.
That was literally the other game that I played for Nat 21. Didn't we kill a whole train of kids? Something like that?
You rescued.
Oh, right. Them. Rescued them.
What is this? What's happening here? I don't know. Rescued.
Yes. So the last part of the oath. So we got the shedding blood, right? You're not supposed to go in with violence and knives, and that's not supposed to be your first approach. The last part of your oath, it's a very simple oath. Brave and charming, helpful, clever, reminds you of the virtues of the scouts. My solemn word shall bind forever. Okay? This is a fairy forest. Fairies are all about oaths and promises.
I'm having flashbacks to Changeling the Lost. No.
Okay, so much simpler, much easier than Changeling. All right? If you give your solemn word, which usually includes the words, I swear or I promise, you have made an oath. Okay? So, you could also sign a deal with a handshake or a spitting on it or exchanging food. It has to be an intentional thing. High five. It's not, so it's not against the oath to tell a lie. It's not against the oath to trick others when you need to. It's only against the oath to break your solemn word. Okay? So it's got to be a formal promise. Okay. All right? And it bears noting that, like Changeling, which draws from fairy mythology, fairy tales, the wording of such a promise is extremely important. So the intent doesn't matter. The words are what matters. Swearing the oath that no harm shall come to you, that's a really bad oath to swear, because you've just made a promise that no matter what, this person's not getting hurt. Okay? Swearing, I will not harm you so long as you're with us, that's a much better oath to make because it's your actions. Okay?
Yeah.
Either oath can be broken. If you swear no harm shall come to you and they fall in a hole and break their leg, you broke your oath.
It's all about loopholes. It's all about wording.
All about the loopholes.
Contracts.
All right.
That's where my corporate world skills come in. All
There you
about
go.
the loopholes.
There you go. So the last couple of things, we got about 10 more minutes in the stream.
Oh.
We've filled the 2 hours here. Right. I swear no harm shall come to you. Great. I'm going skydiving. The last thing to talk about is your familiar. Okay. And you will not have met your familiar yet. This is going to come about in play. But familiars are an enchanted animal that travels with your troop, sort of looks after you, gives you advice. The familiar is going to be played by the people in chat. Once we're actually playing the game next week, if we see a comment we like, we're going to put it up there, and that's what the familiar says. But the familiar is an animal, so they can't do things for you. And they can't manipulate the world in the way that a human can with opposable thumbs and fingers and toes. But they can offer you advice, and they do have one ability that helps you. So what I need you all to decide is whether you want a familiar that is nurturing, powerful, stealthy, or wise. One of those 4 things. Okay. So a nurturing familiar, their aim is to keep the scouts healthy and well. All right. The scouts can handle everything else. A powerful,
AKA a nagging. If you guys eaten, you should put a coat on.
Look,
Right.
look, ready? Hey, Link, listen, Link. Hey. That's what I'm thinking.
Is chaotic an option?
Is chaotic an option? Your familiar will be chaotic because it's going to have multiple personalities. A powerful familiar favors direct action, relying on their strength of spirit and body to guide the scouts. So they are like a power animal. That could be like a bear with a big roar, or something that steps in the way of danger.
It's a lion.
A lion. You could have a stealthy familiar.
Yes, the forest lion.
The forest lion.
Because that makes sense. A panther. Panthers.
That would be a panther or a jaguar. Yeah.
Or a jaguar. We can loophole this.
Jaguar.
Yes, the forest lion, Nalsa. It's Aslan spelled backwards. No, we're not doing it. No. So you can have a stealthy familiar, all right? A sneaky, deceptive familiar that actually can spy to help you out. Or you can have a wise familiar who is maybe like the owl in the Sword of the Stone, favors knowledge, caution, and careful planning, and encourages the same tendencies. And a wise familiar knows things, and so it can drop hints.
I mean, sure, everybody wants wise.
Look, hints are cool. Can you just give me the answer? Like, can you just come on, let's be real with kids. They don't take hints that well. I need you to just not mine don't. That's for sure. You gotta go. You gotta be to the point. Y'all don't do this.
Does one of those seem like? So I would actually suggest, based on your paths that you've taken, you have a scout that excels in cleverness. You have a scout that excels in helpfulness. You have a scout that excels in charm. You don't have a scout that excels in bravery. So it's possible that you might want a powerful familiar to fill that missing role in the group.
I say pow. Shoshi, you're muted. Let's hear it.
Panther, panther, panther.
Panther, 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 Panther.
All right. Is that what we're going with? A panther that is a powerful familiar?
Panther. Yeah, I'm good.
I love that idea so much.
Wow.
All right.
What was the name of the panther in the Jungle Story?
Oh,
Jungle Book.
Hold
Shere
on.
Khan was the
Okay,
lion.
not a Kayla.
I
Hold
think
on.
it was Panthro.
Bagheera.
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 Bagada?
Bagheera.
Bagheera.
Hakuna
Panthro?
Matata.
I think it was
Yes.
Panthro.
Yes, I do want to bring my cat. Okay, I'm going to say the name of our familiar will be Murder Beast. He doesn't even need a costume. He looks like a little panther.
There you go. There you go. All right. So
Nab just wants to use Murder Beast. That's all this was about.
and that's totally cool. And now you've got your cat, because if your familiar runs off in the Weirdwood, it's totally fine.
Because it's this one can survive. This one
can survive.
This one might eat the other things in the Weirdwood.
MB for short.
Hey MB, can you
MB.
So the last thing that you have as a troop is you have a troop leader. That is an adult previous scout that is supposed to be there to help you and guide you through the Weirdwood. However, the unwritten rule is the way they do that is leave you mostly on your own.
What is this, Pokemon?
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes. And there's a game-wise reason for this, especially when playing with kids. But if you have a figure of authority in the group that kids are expected to listen to, characters are expected to listen to, then they're not in control of their own adventure anymore. So the troop leader, while they exist, they are mostly going to be absent from your adventures. All right. So not really someone you can call on for help unless you really, really get in trouble. And we got about 3 minutes, so I'm going to hit the other points really quick. You all know each other because you had a picnic before you went into the Weirdwood. Okay. So you got to meet each other like a family fun day where your families got together. You may have gone to school together. You may have grown up together. You don't have to, but you all know each other when the game starts. You've met each other at least once. Okay. You have also been shown how to use your magical abilities. So your troop leader at that family fun picnic took you into the Weirdwood, made sure you knew how to use your abilities. You got the chance to do that superhero Spider-Man scene, testing stuff out. And then you came out, he got the next kid, took them in, made sure that they knew how to use their abilities. Okay.
Montage. We had a montage. Yeah.
So you don't have to role play through, oh, I don't really know how to grow big or grow small, or I don't really know how to use my magic. You've been taught how to use your magic. Okay. Cool. And we don't have to deal with the, oh, I don't know you, I don't trust you. No, y'all played kickball together. You're good. So yes, you all, when we meet next Sunday, you all will go into the Weirdwood together for the first time.
Cool.
All right.
Very exciting. I'm jazzed.
Yeah.
Are you jazzed?
I'm excited.
I'm
so jazzed.
So
does anybody have any questions that we need to answer while we've got an audience here?
I think
AMA, ask me anything. So my first question is, do you think Puka was a bad idea?
Who? Puka? Having you be a Pook from as your character? No, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think any choices that you could have made so far are bad ideas. So I have put up there on the screen. This game is available right now at wicked-clever.com and on DriveThruRPG. So if anybody wants their own copy to follow along, make their own character, see what we're doing. I wish it popped.
You could get a PDF, right?
You can get a PDF today. You can order a physical copy from me. I will sign it and send it to you. You won't get it today because that's not the way the post office works. Or at some point, hopefully next week, the physical copies will go live on DriveThruRPG. There are physical copies that exist. They were not printed by DriveThruRPG. Because when DriveThruRPG printed one, they pinned some black pages in there.
What is that?
The rest of the book is fine. When the other company printed them, no black pages. So same files. Who knows? So yeah, that's where you can get it. Please join us. Make that go away. Boom. Please join us next Sunday. So Sunday side quest for like the next 6 weeks is going to be Wyrdscouts. We're going to go through
6 weeks. Wow.
It might be 6 weeks. Paulo and I haven't set a firm date yet.
Oh, let me count. Let me count 6. Hold on.
Yeah. He asked me to cover as much as I could cover. So this might be week 1 and we have 5 more weeks.
Okay, I'm just trying to plan for so I don't end up in New Jersey and be like, oh Mab, guess what we gotta do?
Well, I mean, we'll just do it in the hotel room together.
Exactly. Oh, they better have internet. They better have real internet too. That's all I gotta say.
And we'll talk afterwards. If we gotta only do 4 weeks, we can do a 4-week adventure.
Oh no, that adds up. Even 6 weeks plus this today is like the end of May, which is totally fine.
Right. Yeah. So and Paulo needs to cover until like the end of June. So he's at the Renaissance Festival out there entertaining the crowds. I'm at home.
So I hope you guys are members of the audience are looking forward to this adventure.
Yeah,
I know I have been really looking forward to it. I was saying, I was part of the playtesting. And one of the things that I got out of this game was how accessible it really was for all ages, for everyone. And it doesn't, I know Robert keeps talking about how this is a great game for kids. It is, but I don't want that to be like, well, adults can't play it either. Like he mentioned, we were all adults in the playtesting, and it was such an exciting game of creative problem solving and very simple rules that made it like you could go, oh wait, hey, look, we're going away for the weekend. We got some kids with us, or we got just adults, and we could do this real quick little game. I love it, and I'm really excited to be playing with 2 of my Fairy Festival performer friends. Shoshi was part of Fairy Ring Theater, and Robert was the other half of Goblin Talk. He had his own show, Gander Snitch the Goblin, and Wedgie here. And we all know that May is straight up full of Fae blood.
I really am.
She's straight up elf, if you ever look at that girl.
I am.
So, yeah. I'm jazzed. I am very glad that you are doing this, Robert. So thank you very much.
Awesome. And because we are playing with all adults, we may go a little bit darker in some of the fairy tales in the Weirdwood. Because I don't have to worry about scaring kids.
No, that's a bonus. That was a bonus. So when I submitted my Kickstarter reward thing, you can write special requests in there. So I made a special request for instead of just signing it, I asked him to write a limerick. I don't know, is that even legible in this thing? So he wrote a line he wrote a limerick, but like on every page. Random pages. Like, so like I had to thumb through. So yeah, these are special, very limited editions.
I think he's asking, Zelani's asking about on the website. Let me check and see if I have any that are not scratch and dent. So hardcovers were ordered specifically for Kickstarter backers, and those are the only hardcovers I printed. So chances are, if I've got any hardcovers left, like if that's what's listed on the website, then that may be the only hardcovers I have. I know I have softback books that nothing absolutely wrong with them. I think I've only got 2 or 3 hardcovers left. And I think like Mabs has a little ding in the corner that she added herself. I think these might have. Huh?
I don't know. Maybe it came that way. I don't know.
No, because I was specific about not sending out any books with any imperfections at all on the covers. And,
but you know what? So. If there was one that was going to get dinged, I'm sure you would have been fine giving it to me.
No. No.
Because you know I would dig the hell out of that thing.
So the fairies did it.
Aw.
What are we showing here?
Oh, the little campfire.
Yeah. Well, and that's something we talked about before the game. And I'm not trying to brag about this, but part of our goal in making this game, both the writing team and the art team, was let's be inclusive in this game. Let's make sure we have representation for as many people, lifestyles, skin colors as we can get. The role-playing game industry, it's getting better, but it's very dominated by white middle-aged males. And you know what? I fit that category. So when I make a game, I wanted to make sure that any kid of any ethnicity, of any background, could find themselves in this book. Now, I've also got people in here with blue skin and green skin because it's a magical fairy forest. But hopefully, if you get this book and you play it with your kids, no matter who your kids are, they can find something in the book that speaks to them. So there we go. However, if where is it?
You know, I think we need to get.
If that's the one that speaks to your kid, maybe get him in therapy.
No, that's a great picture.
It is a beautiful picture, but he looks a little sad, and he looks like he's turning into a tree.
He is.
So I don't know if that's a good thing.
You'll learn about him probably in your adventure.
Okay.
Nat 21 adventures. That's where we are.
Yay!
That's the merman.
I really like the Naiad picture. So
That's
pretty.
one of my favorites. That's
So
one of my
pretty.
favorites.
Where is that?
That
I've
is,
been kind of randomly selecting.
that's on page. Hold on, I'm
Look
scrolling.
at that, really
Oh,
beautiful.
that's really pretty. That is on page 32, my dear.
All right,
No,
I'm
33.
32.
So what I will try to do for next time is I'll try to get some of this art in there that we can pop it up at times so you can see, and maybe that'll help pull people into the world at certain moments a little bit more. But
look at that!
I am actually very proud.
That's
of
a
the art
dryad
in
and a naiad.
the dryad and the naiad. Yeah,
love it. That's Loon and Echo right there. And she's like, go ahead, sniff that. You'll love it. It smells great. It won't get you high. It's really nice. It'll take the edge off right there. I wish my camera would focus. Hey.
All right. So thank you for joining us today as we did character creation on Nat 21 Adventures.
Right.
I don't have any closing credits. I am going to switch over and put up their schedule so you can see that there are other things that are happening on Nat 21, including, as soon as I find the right buttons here, Haiku Wrap Up. Is that happening tonight?
That's coming up right after this show. We had last week off with the Haiku Wrap Up because everybody was unavailable. So stick around because last week on Tuesday was our season premiere. New cast members, new locations. Go ahead, leave that there. So Sunday, we just finished the Sunday side quest, 5 p.m. We'll be back again next week at 5 p.m. Coming up at 8 p.m. and I believe in an hour is the Haiku Wrap Up. All right. But then tune in on Monday at 11 p.m. for the sultry sounds of the Glamour Hobo Bedtime Tales. You know it. Right now, she is currently reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and done in her own little special way in her bedroom for you. She's our very own Metatron, Glamour Hobo, Bedtime Tales 11. Tuesday, the main event. So awesome. Season, whatever number we are on. I think 5. Does anyone know what season we're on? We're on season 6. Season 6. So 8 p.m. Meet your favorite characters. We're back 8 p.m. Keep going with the new island. I believe it's called Sissel. And then Wednesday, we're going to be making stuff, creating with the crew. That's right. I'm feeling so arty right now. So 12:30 p.m., creating with the crew. You never know who's going to show up and what we're going to make. But then 8 p.m. is the World Spirit Tarot with Madame Ansa. So that's going to be like tarot talk for tower times is what she's calling it, which is brilliant. So definitely tune in. She kind of covers a little bit about whatever you got, questions, and she will do live readings on screen for you. Thursday, 10:35 a.m. Did he bump that earlier? Have we not updated this? But so I think it's like around 9:30 now.
Yeah, I think he did. I think they did bump it, but I don't know if the thing got edited.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Sonnets with Shakespeare. And so Thursday is like a really early day and a really late day. So all between 9 a.m. So it starts off with beautiful sonnets that you help Shakespeare write. You give him words and he helps make beautiful sonnets. And then at 10 p.m. is the Gothic Horror Gaming. They just started the new season of that with its
Delta Green.
Delta Green, that's right. But it's the deep sea Delta Green. And I tuned in a little bit for the first episode and the second episode, and it's straight up creepy. All right.
So good.
So creepy. Ooh, and then Wednesday night, thanks, Salami. Wednesday night, and you guys can tune in. Everyone can tune in for the Patreon Saints game. So here on Patreon, we have a special super high tier. If you subscribe to that, Paulo will run a D&D game for you. And it's not too late to subscribe, but it might be too late to get it on the game on Wednesday at that time. Oh, right. So this Wednesday at 6 p.m. So it's before the tarot talk, but after creating with the crew. Woof.
That's going to be a busy day.
Wednesday's Wednesday. Wednesday's busy.
Sally, I keep hearing this Flock of Seagull reference. You guys are cracking me up. But here's the other thing. We are on Discord, and I know with Twitch, we are only able to have these conversations while we are on the air. So we did start up a whole Discord channel. We tried to keep a channel per show, but we mix it up a little bit. But we're all about engaging with you guys because you guys are awesome. We love your ideas. We love the things you make. We love the things, the collaborative brilliance that comes out of every one of you, members of the audience. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it all.
I think you got it all.
You got it all. There's the Discord link. It's in the chat. Thank you so much. I know Mab needs to go get dinner before she comes back for the haiku wrap up. Anybody else is
Who else is doing the haiku? You're invited.
I might if I can get food stuffed and my kids fed.
There you go. You gotta feed the kids. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Mab and May and Shoshi. And thank you, audience. Come back next Sunday at 5:00 for Wyrdscouts. And you all,
I'm so excited.
Get to play the familiar. So thank you for checking it out. And everybody wave while I hit the end broadcast button. Bye. Thank you.
Closing theme song. This is our closing theme.